Hi guys, this is Christine, your relationship and mindset master doctor, and your leverage for change. And today I want to speak about anger. It's one of those things that really can affect relationships of every kind. It can affect your intimate relationships, your relationship with your family members, your work relationships with your co-workers, with your management. It can really wreak havoc in your life, and if you're not able to really manage anger, it can be something that will cause you to remain stuck in a place where you don't want to be. All right. So I'm basically going to kind of approach it from just kind of giving you also the effects of anger on your health, because a lot of people believe that anger is just something that happens and it doesn't affect anything else, right? But anger can affect you, in a really bad way in your health, because when you're angry, it can increase your blood pressure, right? It can, and when this happens, guys, you get more prone to heart attacks, stroke, high blood pressure, all that kind of stuff. This also have the tendency to weaken your immune system, right? Your immune system is weakened, so you have the tendency to get sick more often, and this is all caused from anger. Having anger issues is what they call it, right? It also makes you emotionally fragile, in that you have the tendency to be really anxious and fearful, because you're just not able to control yourself. When somebody does not have the ability to control themselves, they really there are so many things in the background that's causing that. And what it results in the fact is that you don't even trust your own self to be able to maintain some kind of a control of yourself. You cannot control yourself. So those are some of the things. So you now start feeling a lack of self-worth. You're feeling your self-image is, you don't have any really much trust in who you are, and sometimes you don't even like who you are, because you're not able to control that anger. You become a really nasty person and you don't like who you are inside. So that self-love is not there. The next thing that happens though, guys, it really can affect also your career options. I mean, who's going to want to, promote somebody who has anger issues, who at the slightest thing, they get stressed and they just flare up and cuss out everyone, right? Or maybe cuss out a customer, a valuable customer or something like that, and lose an account, a very important account. Nobody's going to want to promote you, right? It's also going to wreak havoc on your social and your personal, your social and your intimate relationship, guys, because nobody wants to be around somebody who is angry or who cannot control their their emotions, and they just lash out and they never know, because they feel that they now have to, the people around you are going to feel as if they always have to be walking on eggshells, because they don't know what they will say or what they will do to trigger you to anger, right? And you don't even trust yourself, so they definitely will not trust to be around you at times like that, okay? Now, the first step in learning to manage your anger is to really come to that place of acceptance that it is a part of life. Anger is a part of life. It's okay to be angry. Not everything is going to go your way, and there are things that's going to make you upset. It's how you manage that anger that is important. You can be angry, but you can manage it in a way that is going to be more healthy for you and for everyone around you, right? Now, accept that it is an inevitable part of life, that way you're not going to be fighting against it. Because as I always say, anything you fight against, people always say, I'm going to try and fight not to do it. Anything you try and fight will cause you to be connected to it, right? And you don't want to be connected to it, because if you're connected to it, how can you fight? How can you manage something that you're connected to, especially when it's strangling the life out of you, right? Now, the first thing, when you start getting angry, guys, you will notice, if you just slow down and become and kind of really get to a place of awareness, you will notice that there are feelings that's going to come up. and that's caused by emotions, right? That emotions are going to come up, and it's going to cause, it could be agitation, it could be your heart start beating faster, it could be just a feeling of restlessness. It could be a feeling of that acid start to rise up in your chest, because you know that you're just ready to explode, because now you have not, in the process of reacting to whatever is causing this. And a lot of times you don't even recognize what is causing you to get to this place of anger. You just know that somebody said something. You quickly, now you don't even recognize it. So I'm going to tell you what happens. Somebody said something, you gave it a meaning, which usually is all about you, right? And then the emotion starts to churn depending on the meaning you give it. If you give it a meaning that's going to be powerful over you, you're going to feel at a loss for really handling the situation, and you're going to lash out, right? So what happens is that the first thing you need to really do is to really kind of manage your emotions by breathing. When we slow down our breathing, it's one of the simplest ways, and the most, I think it's probably the most well-known way of really kind of calming your nerves, your nervous system, really, right? So you stop, and even if you have to walk outside of the room, make an excuse and say, okay, you know what? Let me go grab something, that I forget to get. Let me go grab a pencil or whatever. Let me use the restroom, and I'll be back in a minute. You go to that restroom and you sit there and you do your breathing, or in your office, wherever it is, somewhere where you can really just slow down that process, right? Of that thing that's being generated inside your chest, that's going to cause you to react in a way that you may not be able to take back. You can never take it back, actually. Once it's out in space there, you can't take it back. All right, you can apologize for it, but you can't take it back. All right, so breathing slowly. So you go into this bathroom and say, you make your excuse and say, go into this, you have to do this, let me go to get this, or whatever it might be. You go in there, you start to breathe. 3 deep breaths in, slowly, make sure it's slow, and breathe when your stomach goes outwards. That's what breathing fully means. We're usually breathing from our chest area, right? And that's like shallow breaths, which does not calm us down. That's usually what happens when we are anxious. You breathe. That's a anxious kind of thing. So when you're breathing deeply, your stomach is going to be distended. Your gut is going to be distended, and you fill up that gut with some air and you slowly breathe it out. Do that about 3 times, all right? Do that about 3 times. And while you're doing that, you're thinking, you're trying to become aware of what it is that made you angry. What thought, what was it? What did that person say that made you angry? What was it that made you angry, right? Then you kind of talk yourself down from the ledge, basically. You're going to talk yourself down from the ledge by asking questions. And I always tell my clients that pretty much everything in your life can be solved by questioning it. Pretty much everything. A lot of things that we struggle with in our personal lives can be solved by questioning it. We question the thought. What is it? What is it that this person did? What could I have been thinking? What meaning did I give to this thing? Say for example, this person said that you didn't, you failed. You failed this exam, right? And you're going to be kicked out of college. You might say, okay, and then you're ready to kind of, just let out everything on them. Then you might say, okay, is this true? Right? Yes, I failed. That is true. I failed that exam. So will I be kicked out of college? Well, yes, that is a possibility. Is there anything that I can do about that? Yes, I can try and go and speak with the person in charge, with the head, the dean, or whoever it might be that you speak to. Apologize for whatever it is and ask how you can make up that, if you can make up that test or whatever it might be. But you find out what you can do, and you just kind of talk your way through the process. Find out what it is that you can do to resolve it yourself, and if you cannot resolve it, can you live with the consequences? Can you live with the consequences of the result of failing it and being kicked out of college? Well, yes, you're not going to die if you get kicked out of college. Yes, it's going to hurt. It's going to be a difficult road for you to walk. You may now have to go and apply to another college or whatever it might be, but you will survive. You're not going to die. All right, so just talk yourself out of it, and by the time you go back now, then you're able to actually have a more a calmer kind of conversation with this person around this. Maybe you can even ask them these things that you may have asked, would be asking the dean. Maybe they are the dean, right? So you ask these things to the person in a rational, calm manner, and they will be more likely to listen to you when you're calm than if you started having a shouting match. Okay? And also, by the way, guys, once you leave that general vicinity with that person to make that excuse to go somewhere, then what happens is that that person also, if they saw that you were getting triggered and you were going to get, and they were starting to shout at you, they may have gotten triggered to start shouting at you, then your disappearance from there would also calm them down, because once you're not in their presence, they will calm down as well. So both of you reconvene when you come back, and you're both calmer, in a better place where you can have a healthy, a better communication, which will have better results, right? So the thing that so that is basically what you're going to do when you're triggered to really act in an angry way. The other thing, there's another way that you can do instead of just the breathing. Remember a time, for example, to kind of slow down your whole system, your nervous system, is really to kind of think back of a way. And you have to do this, prepare for this even before this conversation comes. So it's something that you're going to have like in a bag of tricks kind of thing, ready for whenever it is that because you know that you have the tendency to get angry. So have this ready, guys. It's not going to come up to you right when you're angry, because you're so crazy, not thinking straight, that you're just going to react if you don't have something ready to do. So the other thing that you can do is to basically visualize a place where you feel calm. Maybe this is a favorite place that you like to hang out, that just calms your spirit and your nerves and everything. You feel serene, the area is calm, there are birds singing, there are calm sound, breeze blowing, and everything is green and beautiful around you. If you can visualize something like that, and always be ready to step into that place when you start to feel excitable and ready to blow up, then this can also work for you, because what it does is that you can visualize that basically there is a spotlight, and in the spotlight there's this place that you feel so safe. There are sounds, you have sounds, calming sounds. Maybe there are waves, or maybe there's a waterfall, and all around you there's like trees and plants and flowers and birds and whatever it is that there is that makes you feel so calm. And this is a place that you can return to each time you need to calm yourself, just by imagining and visualizing yourself in that place. So instead of the breathing exercise, if that doesn't work for you, or if you prefer to do something more visualizing, something more pleasant, then you can use this. Just remember that you have to prepare this place in your mind before you get into a place where you're angry, because you need to be able to say, okay, I'm feeling this thing. Okay, I'm going to step into my place, my little safe zone. I'm going to step right into it. And you close your eyes and you visualize yourself in this place where everything is at peace, it's peaceful, it's calming. There's sounds of birds and waterfalls or waves or whatever it is, gurgling over rocks, water gurgling over in a river, right? These things that that makes you calm, and it's going to be different for everyone. The next thing, guys, is why do a lot of the reasons why we get angry is because we become attached to our perspective or interpretation of what is causing that anger, right? So if, for example, somebody says something and we don't agree with it, we get angry. We're not open to hearing their side of it. We just flare up and say, no, you're wrong, and start going off, with our anger issue stuff, right? So that is one of the reasons why we get angry. And then another reason is that we take things personally. So instead of taking things personally, we can understand that a lot of things that cause people to say or do things that will hurt you has nothing to do with you. It is their stuff to deal with. The next thing that you need to be able to recognize when you start getting angry is that you're not responsible for anyone else's behavior except yours. And so you're trying to, manage your anger, but when they do stuff, you're not responsible for it. And so don't take that blame inside of you and then now cause that to make you angry, right? Also, knowing and recognizing that holding on to anger is also damaging your health. So it's not damaging their health, the person that you're angry at, it's damaging your health, guys, right? So the next thing I wanted to teach you is to how to validate another individual by helping them, if they're the ones that angry, if they're the one that is angry, not you, to de-escalate that kind of anger in them. What you need to do first is to really validate their feelings. A lot of times when someone is angry, what is happening inside of them is that they don't feel heard. They don't feel like you see them or you understand them. You don't understand their perspective, because perhaps you're taking things and saying your way is right, and you haven't really you're not open enough to hear their side of the story. So once you validate their feelings, and you probably say something like, I can see that you're very upset. How can we resolve this? Right? So, and you have to say it in a way that really is authentic, because the person is going to recognize that you're just playing them for a fool if it's a pretentious kind of a thing that you're doing, right? And when you do that, you have to be able to help that person. Both of you have to sit down to be willing to explore different ways of how you can explore. So. How else can you express yourself if you're not feeling heard, seen, heard, or understood? And is this way of expressing yourself, will it have consequences? Are you willing to live with those consequences? Because every action has consequences. And so once you start talking them down and saying, okay, are you willing to live with those consequences? Maybe you shout at this, and the teacher or somebody, like, are you willing to live the consequences that you may be expelled? Just talk them down and say, okay, what could you do differently? Right? Just to try to de-escalate that person. Also, give them a choice, because people don't like to be told what to do. So you have to phrase your question in terms of choices versus ultimatums. All right. So this is how you are able to really de-escalate somebody else who is becoming angry. Validate them. Explore the options, different options of how they could behave instead of being angry. Explore the option that if they're angry and they continue to do down that path, are they willing to live with the consequences of that decision? And any other decisions that they may have come up with, what are the consequences of that? And what are they willing to live with those consequences as well? Right? And also be able to give them a choice in the matter, because people do not like to be told what to do. They like to have a choice because they feel they want to be that autonomy to make their own choice. And so you have to give someone a choice, right? Make it look as if you're giving them a choice out of this or that. Which one are you going to do? Why? What are the consequences? Are you willing to live with that? Right? Yes or no? So that is basically how you kind of try and de-escalate someone. And hopefully I've kind of given you some ideas of what anger is, how it affects you, and how you can calm yourself down, and how you can also help to calm somebody else down who is going through this process of anger. All right, guys, this is Christine. By the way, I've started doing coaching, video coaching. So it's like if you have a particular problem you're struggling with, you can make a video of that, send it to me. I send you a Stripe link to pay for the video consult. I respond to you with a video, and that's it pretty much. All right. So if you can take advantage of that service, it's the more information is down below in the description for this video. And also, guys, please like, share, and subscribe to my channel so that you can be notified hit the notification bell so that you will be notified as soon as I upload a new video. In the meantime, guys, this is Christine, your relationship and mindset master doctor and your leverage for change. Take care and to keep growing. Bye-bye.